Hello everybody, Big Beardy back again with another video. Yes, we're back. We're back doing some videos, and I'm answering a question that's been asked to me a couple of times in the last month or so. And it's a question that needs answering. Is this the quietest it's ever been out on the road? Because it's pretty quiet at the moment. Before I continue, please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy my videos. And just let me know if there's anything you want to ask a question. Right. Is this the quietest it's ever been? Yes and no, it's the answer, which is a bit of a cop-out. But no, in the fact that during the first lockdown, during COVID, it was a lot quieter. During COVID, it was a desert. Winning a job was painful. If it weren't for the fact I had regular customers and stuff, I would have been in a lot of trouble, like a lot of people out there. That was by far the quietest it's ever been. First lockdown, nothing was moving, and I think every single same-day courier ended up on multi-drops in one form or another, be it for Argos, be it for Hermes, be it for DPD, be it for whoever. Everyone ended up on them. People were delivering vegetables that I know because it was that quiet. It went crazy. But apart from that, it's the quietest it's been in a very long time. I look fondly back at pre-COVID. The year before COVID was a very good year for me. I did really good. I had lots of customers lined up. I was doing good money, good work, getting paid a good rate. What has changed since then? A lot. We've obviously had COVID. The price of living has gone through the roof. The price of fuel is astronomical. It's crazy how much fuel is costing right now. We've had Brexit kick in, which sort of flew under the radar because of COVID. And on the 1st of January, you know, we've got drivers stuck at Dover that can't get in and out of the country. All these factors coming into play. And it just seems very quiet. And the knock-on effect of that, and this is the problem when we get quiet periods, because we do it to ourselves, let's be honest, is that people go cheaper because they want to win the work. And then the people that were going slightly cheaper than you were can't win the work, so they go cheaper. And then it becomes a race to the bottom. And it feels like a race to the bottom in a minute. From stories you guys have been telling me out there, what sort of jobs you've been winning, how much you've been winning them for. You know, I speak to a lot of people. I'm in quite a blessed position because of the YouTube and everything, that a lot of people contact me, and I have the Discord set up, so I hear what a lot of people are saying. And it's pretty much everywhere, which is weird, are saying there's just not a lot of work around. Now, some people will blame it on the fact there's too many drivers. I'm not talking, by the way, solely on the Courier exchange. Let me make this clear. It's not solely on the Courier exchange, because a lot of people who message me will say, oh, it's really quiet on the Courier exchange. And, you know, it might be quieter than usual on the CX, but I don't think it's too quiet. For instance, I was in London yesterday, and I was in the Slough area. Loads of work was popping up. The problem is everyone's going cheap so they can get that work. It's almost perception drives reality. Everyone perceives it to be quiet, so they start going cheaper. So then jobs go cheaper, and then we all complain saying, oh, there's no work around, I have to go cheap to get the job. But actually you're going cheap to get the job because you think there's no work around. So I don't necessarily think the CX in certain areas is quieter than it ever has been. You know, apart from today in Norfolk, it's very quiet, but the rest of the week's been quite busy in Norfolk. London's still busy, but the jobs seem to be going dirt cheap. So it's hard to tell if it's actually quiet, or jobs are going cheap, or it's a mixture of things. But yeah, it's a hard time. It's also that time of year, which is generally quite quiet. January, February tends to be a lull. I say this personally. Some people disagree with me. But bear in mind, everything I say, someone disagrees with me. But some people say, oh no, if you've got certain customers, you're fine, because they're all year round, they keep giving you work, which is true. But a lot of my customers I do work for are seasonal. I do also have a lot of work from customers which aren't seasonal, but seem to be quiet. So, So yeah, it's all just, it just feels very mellow at the moment. Everyone's a little bit down. February is the worst month of the year. We all know that. February, statistically, is the most depressing month of the year. So we can expect that. We're all a bit down. We're on the back end of Christmas. It's a new year, and there's not much work to be seen. So, answering the question though, is this the quietest period I've ever seen, bar COVID? At the moment, I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to say yeah, but it's not necessarily because it's quiet, but it's because of the cost of everything. And hear me out. So, because there's a little bit less work around, people are going cheaper. So to win work, you have to go cheaper or you have to have regular work. They're your two options. Have someone who gives you good work for good money. Factor in the high price of fuel, which is just ridiculous at the minute. Fuel is astronomical. So what happens is you get to the end of the day, and a day you would have made, let's say, £100 profit, you're now making £80 profit. Or you make £200 profit, you're making £160. You know what I'm saying? Because the fuel is so high, everything's going cheaper. I mean, we're all making less money. And because there's this perception of less work, which might be right or might be wrong, depends on which area you're in. I have no doubt there are some areas that will be quieter. I have no doubt there might be a certain percentage drop in work throughout the industry, not just the Courier exchange, but like I have a lot of regular shippers, they're all saying, oh, we haven't got much work around at the moment. Nothing to do with CX, nothing to do with delivery app, nothing to do with anything else. Just regulars I get work from, and again, we're a bit quiet at the moment. So add that in, and people going cheap on work, which they shouldn't be. I maintain the fact that you should have a price and you should stick to it. You should have a bracket, and you should stick to that bracket, depending on what the job is. But it does feel like a lot of people have gone really cheap. I had a job the other day. I was in Cardiff, just outside Cardiff. Job came up going to, I think it was Cambridge or Bury St Edmunds. I can't remember which one, but that area. I live in Norfolk. That's brilliant. Takes me home. So I had a look at the job. I looked. There was no one near me. I'm in bloody middle of Wales. I was north of Cardiff. Middle of Wales. No one bloody near me. Long wheelbase job. No long wheelbases within an hour fucking drive of where I was. So I saw it and I thought, right, I'm going to put a decent price on that. And I think it was around 190 miles. And I thought, I'm going to treat this as a backload because I think it was a Friday afternoon. I wanted to get home. It's a backload for me. 190 miles. I think I threw £110 at it, which is dirt cheap for me. That is backload rates for me. Still didn't win it. Still didn't win it. Backload. Didn't win it. So either someone else has seen it as a backload, or someone is going dirt cheap, or they've gone so cheap that the people who have put the job online are willing to wait an hour, because no one was within an hour of this job. I was 20 minutes down the road, and I was by far the closest. So someone must have gone through the floor cheap. And that's a problem. That is a problem. Now, I'm not saying it's the case everywhere. Like, I'm doing all right getting out of Norfolk, but getting back to Norfolk, or I keep ending up in London. I hate going to London, but a lot of the work's going to London for some reason, which causes another problem. So we're going to put problems on problems on problems here. Because you lot asked, it seems like an awful lot of work is going to London at the moment. The vast majority, but I know it usually is the case, a lot of work goes to London, but at the moment it seems like every single job I see come up is going to London, which causes another problem. Because that means every driver drives to London. And then what happens? We're all fighting for that work. So we all go cheaper and cheaper and we kill each other. What's the answer? There isn't an answer. There's no good answer. There's no right answer. There's plenty of wrong answers. There's always 100 wrong answers and very few right answers. But how do we fix this? I don't think we can. I think we're in a situation where we just have to wait for that work for the perceived increase in work to drive our reality of the situation. Because that's how it works. We perceive it to be busy or quiet, and depending on our perception, we bid. Perception is reality. Even if it's not reality. I'm going philosophical at the moment. But you see what I'm saying here? If we think it's quiet, we're going to bid a little bit lower because we're like, oh, I need to win the work. And like I said, it's not just on the apps or Courier Exchange or anything else. It seems to be across the board at the minute, which is difficult. High fuel prices driving price. Thing is, I've said this in videos before. If the price of fuel goes up, our costs should go up. Therefore, we should be bidding more. And what's happening at the moment is the exact opposite. People are bidding less. It makes no sense. It hurts my head when I've spoken to shippers and they've said, oh, these are the prices. Because shippers, I've got 2 or 3 shippers I speak to regularly. And they will tell me how much they're being bid on jobs. And some people go ridiculously high. Like a £200 job, some people are bidding like 350 quid. Never going to win it. But then they're telling me they're getting bids that are just through the floor dirt. They're looking at the bids. I had one, but I said, I looked at the bid and I thought, you are losing money on this job because of the fuel prices. doesn't make any sense. It does feel like there are some people out there are shooting themselves in the foot, and it's ricocheting and shooting the rest of us in the foot because it's screwing us. So is it, back to the question at hand, is it more quiet now than it ever has been? It's one of the quietest periods I've seen, but then again, January, February tends to be. I think there's a lot of factors in play this year. A lot of factors in play. Brexit, COVID, fuel prices, cost of living, and everything in between seems to all be hitting right now in our quiet period. So, what do we have to look forward to the future? Do we have a future to look forward to? Yes, these things always sort themselves out. Our industry is mountains and valleys constantly. It's never a plain field like most industries. We live in an industry which is the wild, wild west. Quickest? I can't speak today, I'm a bit tired. Quickest to the draw, best price wins the job. It is the wild, wild west. There's no regulations, whether it, certain van size and all that other stuff. But apart from that, we're not really a massively regulated industry. So it's a wild, wild west out there. And when you have a very unstable market, which we do, there's always going to be big peaks where you make great money. Jobs are going for really good prices, and you're going to have massive valleys where we're all sitting here like we are now, feeling the pinch. But the thing is, always remember, after a valley, there's always a peak. That's how our industry works. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people thrive in it. But it's how you deal with these low times like now, which will determine if you'll be successful or not. So, is it quiet? Yes. Are people struggling out there? Yes. But they always are. It's never good enough. Will we get through it? Yeah. Of course we will. We just have to grin and bear it for now. And come up with some other ideas of making money. I advertise this to people all the time. Listen, if you're struggling doing it like this, if you're doing the same thing every single day and it's not working, stop fucking doing what you're doing and change it up. Simple as that. So if you are sat there at the moment, and you're like, I haven't had work in 2 weeks, I'm struggling, things aren't going right, change it up. Do something different. Slap your dick on the table and get out there. That was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it? Slap your dick on the table. Bloody hell, Beardy. What are you on about? Right. So, there you go. There's my little rant about what's going on at the moment. Please like, comment, subscribe. Be safe out there. Have a great day. You've been awesome. I've been the Big Beardy One. Peace.